The case you're about to see is fictional, but the procedure is legally accurate. The characters are played by actors, but the jury is selected from members of the general public.
My lord and members of the jury, the accused, Harold and Grace Barber, are charged with the manslaughter by neglect of Mrs. Barber's mother, Mrs. Alice Ather, at the New Inn public house in Lamsford on the 1st of October last year. 3 months after she'd moved into the care of the defendants, Mrs. Ather, aged 73, was discovered dead in an upstairs bedroom. She was in a starved and emaciated state and had died from tuberculosis of the meninges, which are the membranes around the brain. Are you Dr. Roger Cordery, and is your practice at 5 Meggs Lane, Fulchester?
That's right.
How long have you been in general medical practice, please?
12 years.
May Dr. Cordery refer to his notes, my lord? Did you attend Mrs. Alice Ather, the deceased?
Yes, from the 5th of January last year. She was staying with her daughter, Mrs. Shepherd. I'm GP to both of them. She had mild arthritis in the ankle and knee joints. I prescribed Indocin to be taken 3 times a day. It's a pain-killing drug which comes in capsule form. I also recommended that Mrs. Ather be placed on a high-calorie, high-protein diet.
Could she walk unaided?
Oh, yes. The degree of arthritis wasn't that great.
Well, thereafter, how often did you see Mrs. Ather?
Once a month, for a repeat prescription and generally to see how she was feeling. The pain certainly eased. I kept her on Indocin.
Did you visit her at home?
Yes. She took to staying in bed more. She was an old lady who liked to pretend she was worse than she was in order to receive attention. I gathered that her daughter did a lot of running around for her.
And how did you know this?
From talking to her daughter, Mrs. Shepherd. Old Mrs. Ather would frequently tell me that she was incapable of getting out of bed and walking. Some elderly people do like to play on their illnesses to get attention.
What was her state of mind like?
It tended to wander. She wasn't senile.
Did you form an opinion as to whether she was eating or not?
Yes. I got the impression she wasn't eating properly, that she liked cakes and biscuits, bread and butter, chocolates, things like that. Old ladies quite often don't know what's good for them, hence the diet I recommended.
Was Mrs. Ather's future care ever discussed?
Yes. Mrs. Shepherd spoke to me about putting her in a home.
She asked your advice?
Yes, but Mrs. Ather refused to go. In fact, on a few occasions when I spoke to Mrs. Ather, she was very upset by the thought. In the end, there was very little advice I could give. It was more of a domestic problem than a medical one.
When did you last see Mrs. Ather as a patient?
On the 28th of June.
Was her health reasonable?
There was little sign of any deterioration, except that she was staying in bed far more.
What would her weight have been at that time?
I'd have to guess. I'd say between 8 and 9 stone, which was healthy.
Why did you cease attending to her?
Because she left the district. Mrs. Shepherd told me that she'd moved away to live with her other daughter in Lamsford.
Thank you, Dr. Cordery.
Dr. Cordery, how would you describe Mrs. Ather's build?
She was thin.
And this high-calorie, high-protein diet that you put her on, what was the purpose of that?
It was to build her up. Also, I suggested the diet because her general health might have suffered through her inability to take proper exercise.
Yes, you say you were under the impression that her eating habits were poor.
Yes.
Yes. Did you feel that she was undernourished while living with Mrs. Shepherd?
I suspected she was eating the wrong things. I simply put her on a more beneficial diet.
Well, what happens normally when one eats the wrong things over a prolonged period? One simply doesn't get enough proper nourishment.
That is so.
Yes. Did you ever examine Mrs. Ather fully?
I gave her a checkup. Her blood pressure seemed a little low, but on the whole she seemed fit. Her heart was very sound.
Did she appear to have been an active person?
Yes. She'd enjoyed old-time dancing in the past. I got the impression from Mrs. Ather that she'd led quite an active life up until the death of her husband and before the onset of the arthritis. She'd always enjoyed going shopping on her own, that sort of thing.
Was she depressed?
I think she could have been.
You think she could have been?
Yes.
I suggest to you, Dr. Cordery, that an old lady who has been active and who obviously enjoys activity, who suddenly finds herself afflicted with arthritic pain, and who hears suggestions that her daughter is thinking of putting her in a home, I suggest to you that that old lady might become very depressed indeed.
I would agree.
I also suggest that that is why she spent more and more time in her bed, because she was depressed.
That is possible.
Would you say that Mrs. Shepherd was under a strain looking after her mother?
Yes.
And were you aware of Mrs. Ather's other daughter, Mrs. Barber? Was anything ever said about her?
Yes, I knew there was another daughter. From conversations with Mrs. Shepherd, I gathered that she was unwilling to take a share of looking after Mrs. Ather.
And is that why Mrs. Shepherd resorted to thinking of a home for her mother?
Yes.
Yes. You say that you ceased attending to Mrs. Ather because she moved out of the district.
That's right.
Did Mrs. Shepherd ever tell you the circumstances under which she got her sister to take care of her mother?
Yes. She said she'd driven her mother to her sister's and left her there. That her sister was now responsible for her care.
And did you subsequently inquire about Mrs. Ather's health?
No, I didn't see Mrs. Shepherd to inquire.
You just forgot about Mrs. Ather.
She was no longer my patient.
Are you Dr. Stephen Little?
Yes.
And where is your practice, please?
15 the High Street, Lambsford.
Are you the GP to Harold and Grace Barber, the accused?
Well, I've attended Mrs. Barber, not Mr. Barber. They've only lived in the village a few months.
Was this ever at the New Inn where they live?
No, at the surgery.
Did Mrs. Barber ever mention to you that she was looking after her mother?
She did.
Did she ever mention the circumstances in which she'd taken responsibility for her mother?
My lord, it has not yet been established that my client did willingly take responsibility.
Miss Miles, your client permitted her mother to live at her address. By so doing, she assumed the burden of responsibility.
But not willingly, my lord.
Learned counsel did not say willingly. And if he had done, it wouldn't make the slightest difference, the way I see it.
I'll repeat my question. Did Mrs. Barber ever mention the circumstances in which she'd taken responsibility for her mother?
She said her sister had dumped her on them.
Dumped? She said dumped.
Those words.
Did she ever ask you to attend Mrs. Ather?
No, she didn't.
Did she ever discuss Mrs. Ather's health with you?
No.
Were you ever aware that Mrs. Ather was an arthritic sufferer?
No.
Moving to the events of the 1st of October last year, can you please tell the court, in your own words, what occurred?
Well, I was telephoned just after 8 o'clock in the morning by Mr. Barber. Mrs. Barber had been in hospital for a week undergoing a hysterectomy. He asked me to come down to the New Inn and have a look at Mrs. Ather. He said that she wasn't breathing and he believed she could be dead. So I called an ambulance and went immediately. The room was small, rather cold, I thought. Mrs. Ather was in the bed. I examined her and found that she was dead.
Did you estimate how long she'd been dead?
Some hours.
Can you describe her to us?
Yes. I found her extremely emaciated, almost wasted away. Her temples were sunken. Her face had a very grey appearance.
Did you come to any conclusion as to the cause of death?
Not immediately, no. It was difficult.
Was anything said between you and Mr. Barber?
Well, I asked him if Mrs. Ather had been ill. And he said that she hadn't been eating properly and had totally lost her appetite. I asked him if any doctor had attended her recently. And he said no.
As a doctor, did that surprise you?
Yes. It shocked me, in fact. I asked him why I hadn't been called in. He said he hadn't thought it was necessary. He'd been so busy running the pub and visiting his wife in hospital.
What possibilities did you consider as to the cause of death?
Well, at first I considered a wasting disease, of which, well, there are a few. And then, well, I thought a poison might have been involved.
Did you consider starvation?
I didn't, no. It's not the sort of thing one believes can happen, except sometimes in cases of anorexia nervosa. So I called the police.
What was Mr. Barber's reaction to all this?
Well, he was upset by the old lady's death.
Thank you, Dr. Little.
Dr. Little, did Mrs. Barber ever express any anxiety as to her mother's health?
Never.
But she told you quite openly that she was living there.
Yes,
She made no secret of the fact at all.
that's right.
Yes. And she said that her sister, Mrs. Shepherd, had dumped her on herself and Mr. Barber.
That's what she told me.
Did she tell you why her sister had dumped her on them?
I think she said her sister could no longer look after her.
Did Mrs. Barber tell you how old her mother was?
Yes, 73.
And do you have many elderly patients?
About 150.
And as a GP, you're obviously well aware of the problems that beset the elderly.
Of course.
Did it never occur to you that an old lady in her 70s, whom you knew to be difficult, might be in need of some medical treatment?
A doctor does not go out looking for patients.
Really, my lord, who is on trial here? And I must correct my learned friend. Dr. Little did not know Mrs. Ather was difficult to look after. He'd been told that Mrs. Barber's sister could no longer look after her.
Yes. You really mustn't put words into the witness's mouth, Miss Miles.
I apologize for doing so, my lord.
But carry on, by all means.
Did you ever ask Mrs. Barber how her mother was?
I was never asked to attend to her, so I assumed she was in good health.
But there had been no attempt to conceal the fact from you that she was living there?
None.
Yes. You say you didn't consider starvation to be the cause of death, that you first considered a wasting disease.
That is so.
Do you know the disease tuberculous meningitis?
Well, I know the disease. I've never come across a case before.
And is it a wasting disease?
Well, not always. But it can lead to emaciation.
How does emaciation follow from the disease?
I understand because it causes anorexia and the patient no longer eats.
Anorexia?
Yes. The loss of appetite.
Is your name Rebecca Shepherd?
Yes.
Do you live at 15 Park Walk, Fulchester?
Yes.
And are the accused your sister and brother-in-law?
Yes.
What's your occupation, please?
I'm a teacher at Hill Road Primary School.
Are you married?
Divorced.
For how long did you look after your mother, Mrs. Alice Ather?
2 years.
Did you invite your mother to come and live with you?
Not exactly. She came after my father died.
Did she have a house of her own?
Yes, in Derby. She sold it. She nursed my father for many years. He had Parkinson's disease. And she said that, she said the house held too many unhappy memories for her.
Did you intend that she should stay with you permanently?
It was what she intended.
What were relations like between your mother and your sister, Mrs. Barber, at that time?
Oh, Grace was always a favourite. It was always Grace this and Grace that. And I'd say to her, why don't you go to Grace if she's so wonderful?
Why did Mrs. Ather come to live with you and not with Grace?
Because I was living on my own. And Grace and Harry were working as relief tenants, and they were always moving around from pub to pub.
Did Mrs. Ather have her own room?
Yes. I gave him my spare bedroom upstairs.
Prior to the 5th of January last year, did you ever have to take her to a doctor?
No.
Would you say that she was fit and healthy around that time?
Apart from arthritis, yes.
Dr. Cordery told us he recommended a high-calorie, high-protein diet for your mother. Is that so?
Yes, that's right.
Did he tell you what foodstuffs this should consist of?
Steak, beef, fish, milk, cheese, eggs.
Did you comply with that diet?
Yes.
How many meals did you give your mother a day?
2, breakfast and dinner.
Did she have a healthy appetite?
Sometimes she had to be coaxed. She was quite a light eater.
Could Mrs. Ather cook for herself?
Yes.
And did she get herself things to eat?
Yes. Until she started to stay in bed a bit more.
Did looking after your mother become a strain?
Yes, it did.
Can you tell us in what way?
Because nothing that I ever did was good enough for her. She complained about everything. About the house, the way I looked after her, even the way I dressed.
Did she talk about Grace during this period?
Yes, every day.
What did she say?
Well, she's cruel. She'd say, why wasn't I married? She'd compare me with Grace. She'd say that Grace would never complain about having to look after her, and Grace was so wonderful.
Did Mrs. Barber ever visit her?
Never.
Never once? In the 2 years she lived with you?
Never once.
Did she write or telephone?
Never.
Did you ever contact your sister, speak to her?
Yes, quite a few times.
What was said between you?
I said it was time she took her share of looking after Mum.
What was her response?
That she and Harry never knew where they'd be, what pub they'd be in. It wasn't practical. And that I was better placed.
You were still teaching?
I was.
Can we now move to the 3rd of July last year? What happened on that day?
I knew that Grace and Harry had finally realised their ambition. They got their own pub in Lambsford. And I put Mother in the car with her possessions, and I drove her round there.
With what purpose?
Leaving her there.
Did you warn your sister and brother-in-law of your arrival?
No.
What were their reactions?
Grace was furious. She swore at me a good deal, and Harry was a bit more understanding. I think he guessed the strain that I'd been under.
Did you tell your sister and brother-in-law that Mrs. Ather needed medication and that she was under the doctor?
Yes.
Did you take her current medication with you?
Yes.
What did it consist of?
A bottle of capsules, Indocin.
Was this the last time you ever saw your mother?
Yes.
Did you ever attempt to see your mother again?
Once, toward the end of August.
What occurred?
I went to the New Inn, the pub, to see my mother. I hadn't heard how she'd been getting on or anything, and I felt a bit guilty. I would have liked to apologise to her for the way that I treated her. Harry was behind the bar, and I don't know where Grace was, and he refused to let me see my mother.
Did he give any reason?
He said Mother never wanted to speak to me again after the way that I treated her.
What did you do then?
Well, I asked where she was, asked how if she was all right, and he said she's fine. She didn't want to see her. He repeated it. And I said, well, just for a moment, just to talk to her. He refused to let me go upstairs.
Did you ask if there was a doctor attending to your mother?
I don't remember.
Was that the first and last time you attempted to see your mother?
Yes.
What was the next thing you heard about her?
About a month later, heard that she was dead.
Thank you, Mrs. Shepherd.
Mrs. Shepherd, why did you look after your mother?
I saw it as my duty. She nursed Father for 20 years. I felt I owed it her.
And this high-calorie, high-protein diet that Dr. Cordery recommended, what did it replace?
I'm sorry, what do you mean?
Well, what was your mother's diet before Dr. Cordery put her on this high-calorie, high-protein one?
Oh, she ate all sorts of things.
What things? Please, tell us.
She ate a lot of cold things, cold meats, tomatoes, bread and butter.
And were you cooking your mother 2 proper meals a day at this time?
No.
So what was she actually doing then, feeding herself?
She tended to just eat as she wanted.
Did you ever cook her a meal?
Well, she wouldn't eat what I cooked very often.
Yes. I suggest your mother was in the habit of eating in a certain way, certain things that she liked, and she was loath to lose that habit. Is that how it appeared to you?
Yes.
Yes. So that for over a year and a half, you were aware that your mother's eating habits were poor.
I didn't think about them.
You thought about them enough to talk to Dr. Cordery about them.
I felt I had to.
After a year and 7 months?
Yes.
Yes. You said a few minutes ago that you regarded looking after your mother as a duty, that you owed it to her. Do you consider that by allowing your mother to eat poorly, you were looking after her?
I let her live with me. I couldn't make her eat what she wouldn't eat.
So after Dr. Cordery's visit, you began giving her 2 proper meals a day?
Yes.
Yes. What time did you give her breakfast?
9:45.
Yes. And what time do you start teaching? What time in the morning?
9 o'clock.
And what time do you leave the house?
About 9:15.
I suggest, therefore, that you never actually had time to sit down and watch your mother eat breakfast.
I know that she ate it.
How do you know she ate it?
Well, she told me.
She told you so, but how do you know that she ate it?
When I came home, the dishes were downstairs and washed up.
Your mother was capable of coming downstairs with her breakfast dishes and washing them up.
Yes.
And she told you that she'd eaten her breakfast.
Yes.
And you believed her.
Yes.
Even though previously it had been hard, almost impossible, to make your mother eat what was good for her.
Well, she knew that she had to.
I'm sorry?
She knew that she had to eat properly.
You said you made sure your mother ate 2 proper meals a day.
I did.
But one of them you never actually saw her eat.
I'm not sure what you're suggesting.
I'm simply suggesting that considering what you've told us about your mother's eating habits, it's very likely that she might not have eaten the breakfast that you prepared for her.
I'm sure she did.
Did you ever suspect that she might not be?
Well, yes, once or twice maybe.
Can you be more precise?
I used to check in the dustbin, just in case.
You used to check in the dustbin. Did you ever find any evidence that your mother had thrown anything away?
No.
But your suspicions were aroused?
I knew what she was like.
Quite. That is exactly the point that I've been trying to establish. You knew what she was like. Where was the toilet?
Upstairs.
Next to her room?
Yes.
And presumably she was also capable of going there on her own.
Oh, yes.
Right, let's talk about dinner. Did you take dinner together?
Yes.
And was this in the evening when you came home from school?
Yes.
Did she always eat everything?
Yes.
Yet prior to Dr. Cordery's visit and his recommendation of this high-calorie, high-protein diet, when you cooked your mother a meal, she would not eat it. That is what you've told us.
That's right.
By what means did you suddenly succeed in making your mother eat?
I persuaded her to.
I suggest that it was a very dramatic change in your mother's eating habits.
It was.
Yes. For over a year and a half, she would not eat what you cooked her. Now suddenly, here she is, eating properly and fully.
Yes.
Did she like the food that you cooked for her?
No.
And yet she ate it.
Yes.
You said under examination nothing I ever did was good enough for her. She complained about everything. Did that include the food that you cooked for her?
Yes.
She complained about the food you cooked for her. She didn't like the food that you cooked for her. You suspected she wasn't eating the breakfast that you prepared for her, and yet you continued, undaunted, to prepare your mother 2 proper meals a day. Is that true or not true?
It's true.
I suggest that it is not true.
I put up with her for 2 years. Isn't that enough?
Was there a significant change in your mother's diet, or did it remain much the same in spite of your valiant efforts? You are under oath, Mrs. Shepherd.
It's much the same.
And did you continue to prepare your mother 2 proper meals a day, or was it a task that you set yourself with the very finest intentions? A task which you quickly realized was hopeless because of your mother's ways?
What you said?
I beg your pardon?
But I tried to do it. I really tried.
It was her that starved her, not us. She was as thin as a bloody rake.
Will the defendant please be silent?
The case of the Queen and Barber will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. The case you're about to see is fictional, but the procedure is legally accurate. The characters are played by actors, but the jury is selected from members of the public. Yesterday, the jury heard the first stages of the prosecution case against Harold and Grace Barber, who were accused of manslaughter of Mrs. Barber's mother by neglect.
Are you Professor Thornton Mason, pathologist at the Edward Mansfield Memorial Hospital?
I am.
On the 3rd of October last year, were you asked to perform a post-mortem examination on the body of Mrs. Alice Ather?
Yes.
Let me first ask you about the height of the deceased.
Her height was 5 foot 7 inches.
What would be the normal weight for a woman of that height?
I'd say 8.5 stone, working on average desirable weights.
What did she weigh?
Her weight was 5 stone, 8 pounds.
The difference in body weight being 2 stone, 13 pounds.
Yes, virtually 3 stone.
What was the reason for the weight loss?
The reason for the weight loss was lack of food, starvation, some dehydration.
What state was her body in?
It was very thin, wasted, very emaciated. There were bed sores and staining from urine and feces. The eyes were rather sunken, suggesting some dehydration. The hair was rather matted. I found no food in the stomach or the intestines. On examining her left lung, I found an old tubercular lesion which had been reactivated. The deceased must have had tuberculosis as a younger woman and recovered from it.
When you say reactivated, what do you mean?
It had tuberculosis and infected the meninges. The meninges were inflamed. The disease, tuberculous meningitis, I'd say she'd had it for about 3 weeks.
What did you conclude was the cause of death?
I concluded the death was due to tuberculous meningitis.
Not to starvation?
Well, proving death by starvation is really a matter of excluding positive evidence of death from other causes.
Can you say for how long she'd been starved of food?
No, I'm afraid I can't. I examined the bowel and found no food particles, none whatsoever. This only led me to the conclusion that she had not eaten recently, within days of death. However, due to the state of extreme emaciation, I'd say some weeks. I can't be exact.
Is tuberculous meningitis a wasting disease?
In an untreated case, there would be a loss of appetite, difficulty in swallowing, to the extent the victim would waste, yes, simply because of not eating.
Are you saying that some of the starvation could have been due to the disease?
Some undoubtedly was.
Can you say how much starvation was due to the disease?
No, I'm afraid I can't.
But all of the emaciation was due to starvation?
Yes.
Do you regard the loss of 3 stone as a dangerous loss?
In Mrs. Ather's case, yes.
When you first saw her body, was it apparent to you that she was dangerously underweight?
It was apparent to me that she was dead.
I'm sorry. Was it apparent to you that just prior to death, she would have looked dangerously underweight?
Yes.
And let me return to the tubercular lesion in the lung. What, in your opinion, was the cause of it being reactivated?
In my opinion, it was because she was in an enfeebled state. When the body is run down, the immunity defenses obviously collapse.
If she was in a starved state, would that reactivate the tuberculosis?
Yes.
And would that lead to the tuberculosis spreading to the meninges?
Eventually, yes.
How long would it normally take for the disease to prove fatal?
If untreated, it would kill in 3 to 4 weeks.
And so you maintain it killed Mrs. Ather in 3?
Well, about 3. Maybe a few days longer, I can't be exact.
What are the clinical features of tuberculous meningitis?
In the early stages, there'd be a general loss of appetite, general malaise, mild headaches. The person would feel drowsy, be confused, perhaps irritable. In the later stages, the headache would become more severe. There'd be a stiffening of the neck, increasing confusion, tremulousness, loss of muscle control, difficulty in swallowing, double vision, perhaps with the eye showing a squint, cranial neck palsies, and finally a paralysis of an arm or leg, followed by a coma.
Is it a disease one could ignore?
I would say not. And in the final stages, I'd expect the breathing to be very erratic, stertorous.
Thank you, Professor Mason.
Professor Mason, you say that Mrs. Ather weighed 2 stone 13 pounds less than the desirable weight for a woman of her height and build.
Yes.
Yes, you see, I don't want the jury to be confused. You're not saying that Mrs. Ather actually lost nearly 3 stones in weight. You're simply stating that she was 2 stones 13 pounds less than she should have been if she was healthy.
That's right. Yes. Obviously, I have no way of telling how much she weighed before.
No, obviously. No. What actually happens when one stops eating? The metabolism...
Well, it's rather a complicated process. The fat becomes the major fuel of the body. The body, in fact, actually begins eating its own fat.
Yes. Was it not possible for you to work out the length of time that Mrs. Ather had starved from the amount of fat that she had used up?
No, I had no way of telling the rate she used up, and also there may have been food taken during the period of starvation. One really can't tell.
Did she still have fat to use up?
She had fat deposits to use up, yes.
So she was still a long way from dying of starvation?
I wouldn't expect her to die of starvation. It's very unusual to simply die of starvation, especially in the case of an elderly person. The state of impoverishment makes the body prone to other conditions which act faster. A loss of muscle in another person might make them vulnerable to a pre-existing heart disease, for example. So you see, starvation very rarely actually kills. Starvation is the trigger. In this case, it triggered the lesion in the lung, which led to the meningitis.
Yes. Is it not so that after a few days of not eating, one loses one's appetite?
Yes.
And that this condition is in fact called anorexia?
That is correct.
And did you not say that anorexia was a feature of tuberculous meningitis?
It is.
Is there any confusion with anorexia nervosa?
None, my lord. That is a psychological disease involving the inability to eat. It mainly affects teenage girls.
I just wanted to make sure there was no confusion.
I wasn't aware that I had created any, my lord. At what stage of the disease did you say that anorexia became a feature?
Almost at the outset.
And you say that Mrs. Ather had starved for some weeks. Could she have starved for only 3 weeks?
I would say it was more probable she starved for a longer period of time. 3 stone in weight is a lot to lose in 3 weeks.
But could she have lost it in 3 weeks? If starvation in that 3-week period was acute, if no food was taken at all?
Well, it depends on so many things. Diet beforehand, amount of fat, metabolic rate. It would depend a lot on how much water was drunk during the period.
Why is that?
Well, the body fluid accounts for a very high proportion of the weight loss. If very little water was drunk during the period of starvation, the weight loss would be far greater than if a lot of water was drunk.
But did you not say that Mrs. Ather was dehydrated?
There was some dehydration, yes.
Can you say how much?
No, I'm afraid I can't. Just a lack of body fluid.
Are you saying, then, that if Mrs. Ather drank very little during the starvation period, she could have lost 3 stones in 3 weeks?
It would still be unlikely.
But possible.
It's possible. I can't be categoric.
Now, 3 weeks is also the time that you said she had the disease tuberculous meningitis.
Yes?
If anorexia is an initial feature of that disease, I suggest she could have lost all 3 stones during the disease.
But I already said it was because she was in an impoverished state that the lesion in the lung was reactivated.
No, you've already said that it was because she was in a starved state that the lesion in the lung was reactivated.
I don't know what state Mrs. Ather was in when the lesion was reactivated.
Then why did you say that starvation led to it?
I did only say the starvation was a possibility.
No, with respect, you said starvation is the trigger. In this case, it triggered the tubercular lesion in the lung.
Starvation is a possibility. I made that clear earlier.
You see, you said it's a bit of a medical puzzle here. We've been led to believe that because Mrs. Ather was starved, the lesion in the lung was reactivated and the disease spread. Yet an early feature of that disease is loss of appetite, which in itself would lead to starvation and emaciation.
I think there was some deprivation of food, some deficiency of diet, enough to impoverish the body prior to the reactivation of the lesion, then considerable starvation as a consequence of the disease.
But the total amount of weight loss can be totally accounted for by the disease.
It is only a possibility.
Yes. At the moment, we do not know which came first, the disease or the starvation. It's rather like the chicken and the egg.
I wouldn't put it quite so simply.
Might a mere deficiency of diet have weakened the body enough to allow the lesion to reactivate?
Might have.
We are a long way from starvation. Could the lesion in the lung have reactivated some time before the disease spread to the meninges?
It could have.
Some months before?
Possibly.
Would there necessarily be chest symptoms, coughing?
Not necessarily. Even though the lesion had reactivated, it could lie quietly without giving any chest symptoms.
So one would not know about it until the disease had spread?
That is correct.
So what we are saying is that tuberculosis may have appeared before Mrs. Ather ever went to live with the defendants. You say that the early symptoms of tuberculous meningitis are mild headaches, general malaise, drowsiness, confusion, irritability.
Yes.
Would they be strong enough feature to cause alarm, or might they not be dismissed as the normal pattern of growing old?
In an otherwise healthy person, there would be a strong enough feature to cause alarm.
What about an old person who was already drowsy, confused, and irritable?
In tuberculous meningitis, I would expect increasing confusion. I think it would be alarming in any event.
You say there would be a stiffness of the neck.
Yes. In the latter stages, there will be a number of neurological manifestations.
And what causes them?
The inflamed meninges begin to strangle the cranial nerves which pass through them. A number of nerves were involved.
Yes, this horror story of symptoms that you've given us, I can only describe them as that, is no more than a list of the neurological manifestations you would expect following the involvement of the nerves.
Yes.
Yes. Double vision, a squint, tremulousness, loss of muscle control, difficulty in swallowing, neck pauses, they are all neurological.
They are?
Yes. What usually is the ultimate fate of a nerve that is strangled in this way?
The nerve is destroyed, ultimately.
Were any of the nerves destroyed?
No, but many were involved.
Involved in being strangled, but not destroyed?
That is so.
Was the spinal cord involved?
The inflammation had involved it, yes.
But was it damaged to the extent that you can definitely say Mrs. Ather would have experienced paralysis of an arm or a leg?
I cannot definitely say, but I think some paralysis was very likely.
Is it not so that when a nerve is damaged but not destroyed, it is very difficult to assess the extent of that damage unless the patient is alive to testify?
Yes.
So we do not know for certain, therefore, to what extent Mrs. Ather demonstrated those manifestations.
They are the clinical features of the disease.
The clinical features of the later stages of the disease, am I right?
Yes.
Finally, you say that it would lead to coma and difficulty in breathing. Now, breathing in coma would be light, wouldn't it?
The difficulty would still be noticeable.
Perhaps not so if that coma were mistaken for sleep.
Well, she would look extremely ill. One could not possibly wake her up. No, I cannot say it will be mistaken for sleep.
Provided one attempted to wake her up. Thank you, Professor Mason.
Professor, given the condition of Mrs. Ather, the muscle wastage, the emaciation, the extent of the disease, can you give us some indication as to what period of time before death she would have been incapable of walking on her own?
It would be an opinion.
I think it would be of some value.
I don't imagine she will be able to walk unaided during the last 2 weeks of her life.
She would have been totally bedridden?
Totally.
Thank you, Professor Mason. That, my lord, concludes the case for the prosecution.
Is your name Grace Barber?
It is.
And with your husband, Harold, do you both own and live at the New Inn, High Street, Lambsford?
We do.
For how long have you resided at the New Inn?
Since the 24th of May last year.
What had you been doing for some years before that?
Well, Harry and me, we've been working as relief tenants for 4 years. You know, just moving from pub to pub. And before that, we were the tenants of the Bell in Fulchester.
And during this period of moving about, were you ever in contact with your sister, Mrs. Shepherd, as regards your mother's welfare?
Yes. Rebecca used to ring me up, say it was time we took our share of looking after Mum. But we couldn't because we were moving around so much.
Now, on the 3rd of July last year, what happened?
Well, Rebecca brought Mum round to us, without any warning. She said she'd had enough of looking after her and it was our turn. Well, I was furious with her. I mean, just dumping Mum on us like that without any warning. And she looked so thin, almost, well, skinny.
When was the last time you had seen her?
When Dad died, 2 years before.
And would you say that there was a great difference in her appearance?
Oh, I'll say. She looked as though she hadn't been fed.
Was she able to walk on her own?
Well, with a stick.
Did your sister, Mrs. Shepherd, say anything about your mother's medication?
No, she didn't.
Did she tell you that your mother had been regularly attended to by a doctor because of her arthritis?
No.
And did she leave any medication with you?
No, she didn't.
After she left, what transpired between yourself, your husband, and your mother, Mrs. Ather?
Well, I didn't want to take the responsibility for her. But Harry, he talked me round. He said, well, now we owned our own place, we owed her something. So we gave her a bedroom upstairs at the back of the inn.
Yes. And was there a toilet and bathroom on the upstairs floor?
Yes, next door to her room.
Did your mother say why she had difficulty in walking?
Yes, she said she had a lot of pain in her knees and in her ankles.
Did she describe what sort of pain?
She said it was an arthritic pain.
Now, did she tell you that she had been seeing a doctor?
Oh, yes. But she said he hadn't done her any good.
And did she say anything else as regards the doctor?
Yes. She said she hadn't liked him because he'd spoken about putting her in a home.
Did you have a GP of your own at this time?
Well, no, because we'd only just moved into the village and we hadn't needed one.
And did you consider fetching a doctor to your mother?
Well, no. I mean, it didn't seem necessary. And anyway, she said she didn't trust doctors, and I was able to relieve the pain.
How were you able to do that?
Well, I used heat treatment. I've got a sunray lamp, and it's got an infrared setting, and I used to use that on her legs.
How often?
Oh, well, every day for about half an hour. And then I also put hot water bottles against her joints.
And how did that help your mother?
Well, she said it helped to relieve the pain a lot.
Did she stay in bed much?
Well, she stayed in bed all the time, except to go to the toilet.
She never came downstairs?
Never.
Was she able to come downstairs on her own?
Oh, yes, she was perfectly able. She just didn't want to.
Did you ever encourage her to come downstairs?
Yes. But there was only the bar, you see, and she never did approve of drinking.
Yes, now let me ask you about the drinking. Did your mother have water in her room?
Well, we supplied her with a jug and a glass.
And did she drink a lot of water?
No, very little.
How often did you have to refill that jug?
Well, I changed the water in it every day, even though she'd hardly touched it.
What was your mother's mood after she came to live with you?
She was very depressed.
Did she talk about your sister at all?
Yeah. She said she never wanted to see Rebecca again after the way she'd treated her.
Did your mother have any interests? Did she read at all?
No, she didn't read.
Did she have a television in her room?
No.
And what about a radio?
Well, we offered her one, but she said she didn't want one.
So what did she do all day?
Well, nothing. She'd just lay there.
And it was around this time that she expressed a disinterest in leaving her room except to go to the toilet.
Yes.
Was she capable of washing herself?
Oh, she was perfectly capable, but she got very lazy about it. When she refused to get up to wash, I always made sure she had a bed bath all over.
Which you gave her?
Oh, yes.
What were the arrangements for feeding her?
Well, she wouldn't have much for breakfast, just a cup of tea and a piece of toast. And then, well, we started off by giving her 2 meals a day, but she just wasn't eating. So we made it 1 at lunchtime. And we thought that, well, as she was lying in bed all day doing nothing, she didn't really need 2 meals a day.
And did she always eat what you prepared for her?
Well, no, that was the thing, you see. I mean, we always made sure that she had it, but sometimes she just wasn't hungry. I mean, a whole day would go by and she'd eat nothing.
And didn't that alarm you?
No. I mean, if she wasn't hungry, didn't see much point in making her eat.
Did you ever sit down with her and coax her to eat?
No.
When she did eat, what were the circumstances?
Well, one of us used to take it up to her, leave it with her, and then she'd eat it on her own.
Could you be sure that she ate it?
Well, the plate was clean.
Were you ever aware, after taking her up a meal and leaving it with her, that she got up on her own and went to the toilet?
Well, I've no idea. I mean, you can't hear a thing what's going on upstairs when you're downstairs in the bar.
Did your mother ever complain about the food that you gave her?
Oh, yes, she was always complaining.
Would you describe her as irritable?
Yes, very.
How did this affect the relationship between your husband and your mother?
Well, it became very bad. I mean, I said really that she'd have to go into a home.
And did you take any action as regards finding a home for her?
Well, no, because I didn't really know how to go about it.
Around this time, were you yourself seeing Dr. Little, the GP in the village?
Yes, I had to go into hospital to have an operation.
Can you tell us the nature of that operation?
Hysterectomy.
What day was fixed for you to go into hospital?
25th of September.
And did you tell Dr. Little that you were caring for an elderly mother?
Yes.
Did you ever ask him to attend her?
No, I didn't think it was necessary, and I didn't want to waste his time. And I mean, Mum didn't seem ill. She just seemed old and bad-tempered.
And were you continuing with the heat treatment at this time?
Well, I was still using the hot water bottles, but I'd stopped using the lamp.
Did she complain of pain?
No.
Was she ill-looking?
No, well, she looked thin, but then she always looked thin.
How was she eating by this time?
Well, much the same as before, really. I mean, sometimes she wouldn't eat, and sometimes you'd take up her food, and then you go and pick the plate up, and it was usually clean.
Did she complain of anything else?
Yeah, she did start to complain about having headaches, and I used to give her Disprin for those.
Now, when did she start having those headaches?
About 2 weeks before I went into hospital.
Did you have any idea that your mother might be ill, seriously ill?
None at all.
Immediately prior to your going into hospital on the 25th of September, was your mother still capable of getting out of bed on her own?
Well, she could get out of bed on her own, but she had to be helped to the toilet.
She was weaker.
Well, we thought it was because she just lay in bed all day.
And on the 25th of September, you went into hospital. Are you fully recovered from that operation?
Yes, thank you.
How often did Mr. Barber visit you in hospital?
Oh, twice a day, mornings and afternoons.
And was your mother discussed?
Yes, he used to tell me how she was.
Did he seem alarmed by her state of health?
No, I think he was more worried about me.
And on the 1st of October, did you hear that your mother had died?
Yes. Harry rang me up to tell me.
Thank you, Mrs. Barber.
Mrs. Barber, you had not seen your mother for 2 years. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Why was that?
Well, there was never any time.
What about Christmas, birthdays? Did you never try to see her?
Well, no, because we were always in some different pub.
I suggest you could not be bothered with your mother. I suggest you were content to let your sister take all the responsibility.
I was content to, yes. because she had her, we didn't, and it was impossible for us to.
On the 3rd of July, Mrs. Ather was brought to you by your sister, who said she'd had enough of looking after her.
Yes, that's right.
And you stated that Mrs. Shepherd said nothing about your mother having been on medication or having seen a doctor because of arthritis.
Yes.
Have you heard Mrs. Shepherd give evidence under oath?
Oh, yes, I heard her.
Mrs. Shepherd has stated that she informed you of both these facts.
Well, she's a bloody liar.
Did she leave a bottle of pills?
No! You already know what a bloody liar she is.
Would you mind your language,
It was her
please?
that starved her, not us. She's already lied about that. Why shouldn't she lie about everything else?
Mrs. Barber, I can't allow you to shout.
She's always been a liar. I always took the blame for everything she did, always.
The case of the Queen and Barber will be concluded tomorrow in the Crown Court. The case you're about to see is fictional, but the procedure is legally accurate. The characters are played by actors, but the jury is selected from members of the public. During the past 2 days, the jury has heard evidence concerning the alleged manslaughter by neglect of Mrs. Alice Ather by her daughter and son-in-law. The defendant, Grace Barber, is being cross-examined.
You say that when your mother came to live with you, she looked thin, almost skinny, as though she hadn't been fed.
Yes.
Under your care, did she appear to look any better?
No.
So she remained thin, almost skinny, as though she hadn't been fed?
Well, it was just the way she looked.
Did she look ill?
Not particularly.
You thought she looked well?
No.
Then I suggest she must have looked ill.
Well, she didn't look well, but she didn't look ill.
Surely, if she didn't look well, she must have looked ill.
I don't see how.
If I say to you, you do not look well, what am I saying to you?
You're confusing me.
It is not I who's being confusing.
Well, she looked much the same.
So why did you not call a doctor? Tell Dr. Little.
I didn't think there was any need.
She looked unwell. I think we've established that. She had arthritic pain. She spent nearly all day in bed, sometimes not eating. And you say there was no need to call a doctor?
Well, it didn't seem that serious.
What happens to someone who does not eat?
Look, she wasn't hungry. It wasn't as though she couldn't eat. Like I said, I mean, she lay in bed all day doing nothing. She didn't need much food. She ate all she wanted.
What were the arrangements for collecting your mother's pension?
Oh, well, I collect it. I got Mum to sign a letter.
What became of the money?
I put it in a bank.
You and Mr. Barber spoke about putting your mother in a home, is that right?
Yes.
And you say that the reason you did not pursue this course was because you did not know how to go about it.
Yes.
Are you aware that there are private nursing homes?
Yes.
And were you aware that after selling her house in Derby, your mother had a considerable sum in her bank account? A sum exceeding £50,000, which would have amply covered such expenses.
Well, we didn't think about it.
You didn't think about £50,000?
Well, not in that respect.
In what respect did you think about it? I suggest to you, Mrs. Barber, that £50,000 must have been a factor operating on your mind in some way.
I don't know what you mean.
My lord, what is the relevance of my learned friend's questions?
Mr. Saunders.
My lord, I mentioned the £50,000 because it is a factor which may have operated on the defendant's minds, making them indifferent as to whether Mrs. Ather lived or not.
I've no objection to your exploring it.
I put it to you, Mrs. Barber, that £50,000 was a motive for not caring whether your mother lived or died.
I did care. Neither of us wanted her to die.
Mr. Barber, on the 3rd of July, we have heard Mrs. Ather was brought round to the New Inn and left in the care of you and your wife.
Yes, by Rebecca, my sister-in-law.
And what was your wife's reaction?
Well, she was furious. She didn't want the responsibility of looking after the old woman. She accused Rebecca of just dumping her on us.
And what did you say to your wife?
I told her I thought it was our turn to look after the old lady. Rebecca had had her for 2 years. Now we had a pub of our own, we had the facilities.
And did you persuade your wife that you should take joint responsibility for her mother?
Yes.
Even though she wasn't your own mother?
Yes.
Is your own mother still alive?
No, she died 4 years ago.
And was she living with you?
No, she was in hospital in a psycho-geriatric ward.
Did you ever look after her for any period?
Yes, I looked after her for 3 years before Grace and I got married.
Now, what condition was Mrs. Ather in when she came to live with you?
Well, she looked very thin, almost bony.
Did she look underfed to you?
Well, not particularly. I just thought she looked thin.
Are you aware that your wife considered her underfed looking?
Oh, I know she said underfed, but to me she was just thin looking.
You thought it was a natural thinness?
Well, yes. I mean, she was 73 after all, and, well, she'd a thin build.
Where did she spend most of her day?
Upstairs in bed. She spent all of it there, except to get up and go to the toilet.
What was her mood, generally?
I was pretty depressed.
And to what did you attribute that depression?
Being dumped by Rebecca.
Did she have a big appetite?
Oh, no, very small. Quite often I'd take a meal up and she'd say, "Harry, I'm just not hungry today." Well, I tried to make her eat, but you can't make somebody eat if they don't want to, can you?
Did you ever leave her with a meal?
Yes, quite often.
And did she eat it?
Well, sometimes she picked, sometimes she ate the lot.
Were you ever present when she ate the lot?
No, no.
Why not?
Well, we'd a pub to run. I mean, why should we stay with her? She was an adult, capable of feeding herself, not a child.
Was there an occasion when Mrs. Ather accused you of something?
Yes, towards the end of July. I took her up some chicken casserole. It was what we were serving in the pub. She looked at it and then she said, "What did I think I was trying to do? Poison her?" And then she threw it on the floor.
She didn't even taste it?
No, she just looked at it and then chucked it.
What else did she say?
Well, she suggested that we wanted her out of the way, that it would serve us right if she starved herself to death.
Had she ever behaved in this irrational way before?
No, not quite like that. Oh, she'd be going a bit funny, a bit morbid, saying how nobody wanted her, nobody cared whether she lived or died. I mean, she said that a few times.
Did she ever say anything else funny?
Oh, she'd get confused. Say that nobody had been up to see her all day when one of us had been up there only half an hour before, things like that. Well, she'd forget where she was, what time of day it was.
Did you and your wife ever talk about putting her in a home?
Yeah, we talked about it, but I was against the idea.
And why were you against the idea?
Because I remember how horrible it was putting my own mother into a psycho-geriatric ward. And just because Mrs. Ather was difficult, there wasn't any reason to stick her away.
Did your wife express an opinion?
Yes, she felt the same as me. And we neither of us really knew how to go about putting her in a home. And anyway, it meant dumping the old lady, and she'd been dumped once already. I mean, Grace and me, we just wanted the best for her.
A few days afterwards, did you receive a visit from Rebecca Shepherd, your wife's sister?
Yes. She wanted to see her mother.
And where was your wife at the time?
She was at the doctor's, Dr. Liddell's in the village.
Did you allow Mrs. Shepherd to see her mother?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
Because her mother didn't want to see her. She'd said so on many occasions. She never wanted to see or speak to Rebecca again after what she'd done.
Did you tell this to Mrs. Shepherd?
Yes. She was very angry. But I wouldn't let her go upstairs, though she pleaded.
And did she then go away?
Eventually, yes.
Now, I want to bring you forward to the 25th of September, the day your wife went into hospital. Was she worried about her operation?
Oh, very worried, yes. Well, she'd never been in hospital before.
Did it cause you any anxiety?
Very much so.
Did you have any bar staff or helpers at the New Inn?
No, none. I was on my own, completely.
And during this week, when did you visit your wife?
Every morning, every afternoon, for an hour each time.
While running the pub single-handed and visiting your wife in hospital, were you also looking after Mrs. Ather on your own?
I was.
How would you describe her condition during this week?
She was very sleepy. She complained of headaches a lot. I gave her Disprin for them.
Yes, she had a jug of water, is that so?
Yes, yes.
Did she drink very much of it?
No, hardly drank any. Just sips now and again.
And how did she look, physically?
Oh, thin and bony like she always looked.
Was she confused?
No more than usual.
During this week, the final week of her life, did she eat at all?
Well, I took her food, but she didn't she didn't touch very much of it.
Now, what do you mean by that?
Well, I took her up her lunch as usual, left it. When I came back, it looked as though she'd eaten some of it, though never very much.
And did that worry you at all?
Well, no, I was more worried about my wife in hospital.
What about going to the toilet? Could she manage that on her own?
No, I had to help her.
She was weak.
Yes, she was.
Did you consider that she might be ill?
Well, I thought it was because she lay in bed so much. I mean, all day.
On the 30th of September, Friday evening, what did you observe about Mrs. Ather?
Well, she hadn't eaten that day at all. She was very drowsy, so I let her sleep. The pub was busy. I was on my feet all night. But before I went to bed, I looked in on her, and she seemed to be asleep, so I didn't disturb her.
Did you go right into the room?
No, I just stood in the doorway and spoke to her.
And what happened the next morning?
I got up and looked in on her with a cup of tea, and I couldn't wake her. She was cold, not breathing. I called Dr. Little.
And did he confirm that she was dead?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Barber.
Mr. Barber, on the 3rd of July, you successfully persuaded your wife that the two of you ought to take your share of responsibility for looking after Mrs. Ather.
Yes.
What do you understand by the phrase taking responsibility when it applies to the care of another person?
Well, it means looking after them.
In what way? In what way does it mean looking after them?
Well, making sure they're well fed.
Does it mean, in your understanding, making sure there's a proper supply of the necessaries of life?
Yes, I suppose so.
You suppose?
Well, you put it better than me.
Forget how I put it. Do you agree with the sentiment behind that definition?
Yes.
Very well. Let us keep it in mind. You say she looked thin, almost bony, when she came to live with you. What exactly do you mean by bony?
Well, she looked skinny.
Do you mean so skinny that her bones were protruding?
Yes, yes.
But you did not think she looked underfed?
Well, I thought that she was underfed looking, but I didn't actually think that she was underfed.
You regarded her as underfed looking, but not underfed?
Well, it depends on how you say it. I mean, if you say that somebody is stupid looking, it doesn't follow that they are in fact stupid, does it?
Did you consider that one meal a day was sufficient for an old person in that state?
Well, yes, she wouldn't eat, too. Like my wife said, she spent all day in bed. She never used up any energy.
Did you consider that one meal in 2 days was sufficient?
No.
Yet there were days when Mrs. Ather ate nothing.
Yes, because she wasn't hungry.
Then there must have been occasions when she had only one meal in 2 days. Would you agree?
Look, I never kept a record. I had a pub to run downstairs. She ate all she wanted. I wasn't going to force food on her.
Despite the fact she threatened to starve herself to death? You cite this incident of the thrown food and the accusation that you were trying to poison her, the threat that she would starve herself.
Yes.
You say she accused you of not having been up to see her when in fact you had been up. You say she'd forget where she was, what time of day it was. Am I correct?
Yes.
Did she have a clock or a watch in her room?
No.
She had no television or radio, is that right?
No, we offered her a radio, but she didn't want it.
And she did not read?
No, she wanted to read it.
Not even newspapers or magazines?
No, I think it was her eyes.
Did it surprise you that she became confused?
No, she was old.
She was old, and that was the reason for her getting confused?
Well, old people do get confused, don't they?
You told us that your own mother went into a hospital psychogeriatric ward. Was she attended to by a doctor while in your care?
Yes.
Did you send for the doctor?
Yes.
What were your reasons?
My lord, is this evidence necessary?
Mr. Saunders.
My lord, my learned friend used the evidence of the defendant's own mother, no doubt as an indicator of good character. I simply seek to use the same evidence to establish the defendant's previous experience in caring for an elderly person.
Does that answer your question, Miss Miles?
Yes, thank you, my lord.
What were the reasons?
My mother behaved strangely.
In what ways?
Well, she'd get up and go out in the middle of the night. She brought a tramp home once to the house. She'd talk about people in the house, people who weren't there.
I can stop you there. Let me ask you this. Did not Mrs. Ather's behaviour alarm you in the same way?
No, it wasn't so extreme.
Well, she threw her food on the floor, accused you of trying to poison her, threatened to starve herself. That was not extreme.
Not as extreme.
That or the fact she was becoming weaker and having more difficulty in walking.
No, no.
You weren't alarmed in the slightest.
Well, it's obvious I wasn't, otherwise I'd have told somebody.
You truly believed that Mrs. Ather, upstairs in that room, arthritic, weakening, frequently without appetite, without medical attention, was receiving a proper supply of the necessaries of life?
We did give her enough to eat.
But did you give enough care as to how much she ate?
I've already said, she was an adult, capable of feeding herself. She knew how much she wanted.
I suggest to you that supplying the food was half the duty. The other half was making sure she ate properly, and if she did not, getting medical attention for her.
It all depends on your definition of properly, doesn't it?
Were you aware of the large sum of money, a sum exceeding £50,000, which Mrs. Ather possessed in her bank?
Of course I was.
Was that not a factor contributing to your indifference as to whether she lived or not?
We'd have to be monsters to do something like that, and you've no right to suggest it. She hadn't even made a will. We never even thought of her making one.
In which case the money would have been divided equally between your wife and your sister-in-law, a still considerable amount.
Well, so what? We never even thought about it.
When Mrs. Shepherd, your sister-in-law, arrived and asked to see her mother, you refused, is that right?
That's right.
Didn't you consider that Mrs. Shepherd had a perfect right to see her mother?
After the way she treated her?
But please just answer the question.
No, I didn't think she had any.
What was your reason for refusing Mrs. Shepherd permission?
Her mother didn't want to see her.
Didn't you go upstairs at the time and ask her?
No.
And how did you know?
Because she'd said so before. She never wanted to see Rebecca again.
But wasn't she often in a confused state? How do you know Mrs. Ather meant what she said?
Well, from the way she said it.
Am I right in saying that had Mrs. Shepherd been allowed to go upstairs and see her mother, she would have been the only other person to see her alive during her stay at the New Inn?
Yes.
I put this to you, that you did not want Mrs. Shepherd to go upstairs because you did not want her to see her mother's state.
I deny that strongly.
She was depressed, you say. Didn't you feel she might benefit from a visit from her other daughter?
No, I thought it might upset her.
You consider yourself the better judge?
In that instance, yes.
During the last week of Mrs. Ather's life, your wife was in hospital, leaving you in sole charge.
Yes.
Have you heard the medical evidence? That by that time, Mrs. Ather was already in a starved state and suffering from a disease, tuberculous meningitis, the symptoms of which are headaches, drowsiness, confusion, irritability, leading to loss of muscle control, paralysis, and coma.
Yes, I've listened to it.
Did you tell us you did not notice Mrs. Ather was ill?
I didn't think she was ill enough to send for a doctor.
Ill enough? Are you saying you noticed she was ill?
Look, my wife was in hospital. I was running the pub on my own.
Are you saying you noticed she was ill?
She was very weak. Headaches.
So weak, in fact, you had to help her to the toilet?
Yes.
Yet you believed her strong enough to feed herself?
Yes.
When you took up her food during that final week, where did you put it?
Well, she always had it on a tray on her bed.
You say that when you went up, it looked as though she'd eaten some of it, though never a great deal.
Yes.
What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, she'd stir the food up with a fork. It was very difficult to tell just how much had been eaten.
Stir it up with a fork. Can you be more precise?
Well, yes, though she'd been picking it over.
But surely you could tell how much had been eaten?
Well, it looked as though some had been eaten.
I suggest none had been eaten, Mr.
Look, I couldn't tell.
You could not recognize a starving woman? A woman who was starving because she'd ceased to eat?
No, I didn't realize that.
When you went to visit your wife in hospital, who looked after Mrs. Ather?
No one.
She was all alone?
Well, it was only for a couple of hours at a time.
Why did you not tell someone she was there? Why did you not ask someone to look in on her?
There was no one I could tell. We hadn't been in the village long. We didn't know many people.
You run a pub and you do not know many people?
Well, not to ask him something like that.
Like what?
What? To look in on an old woman.
Did you wash Mrs. Ather during that final week?
No, I didn't.
When you looked in on her and observed that she was asleep after a day in which she ate nothing at all, did it not occur to you to go right up to her and check that she was all right?
No, because I thought she was asleep and I didn't want to wake her up.
How had she been that day?
Very drowsy.
She was a day away from death, Mr. Barber.
Look, if I'd have noticed something, I would have called a doctor.
I suggest you had left it too late. I suggest you were too frightened to send for the doctor. Members of the jury, who was responsible for the condition of this old lady when she died? Do not lose sight of the fact that for 3 months she lay virtually alone in an upstairs bedroom of the inn, without any visitors, without any attendance of a doctor. Only the regular attendance of the 2 people who were responsible for her care and well-being. Yet she died weighing only 5 stone 8 pounds, with very little fat on her body, and in a starved and emaciated state? Does the fact that they never bothered to send for a doctor not suggest to you the most negligent of attitudes? Does the fact that no one else ever saw Mrs. Ather, that Mrs. Shepherd even was turned away, not suggest to you that they could see the terrible condition she was in? For nearly 20 years, we have heard, this old lady nursed her husband at the hands of her daughter and son-in-law. Did she not deserve better?
Members of the jury, we have been led to believe that because Mrs. Ather was in a starved state, she developed tuberculous meningitis, the disease which killed her. However, Professor Mason has been prepared to admit that all of that starvation could have been attributable to the disease, and that a mere deficiency in diet could have caused that tuberculosis to reappear sometime before the disease spread to the meninges. Now I suggest to you the possibility that that disease did reappear long before Mrs. Ather ever went to live with the Barbers. And this presents us with a very different picture, because we can no longer be certain that any neglect by the Barbers led to Mrs. Ather developing the disease which killed her. Will you, members of the jury, consider this tragic case not only with the utmost compassion, but also with a regard to the very strong and nagging possibility that there may have been, in truth, no crime committed?
Members of the jury, every person who takes charge of another person to provide the necessaries of life for that other person is criminally responsible if, by reason of neglect, death ensues to the person so neglected. If the neglect of duty is such as to amount to a reckless disregard, then the person responsible can be convicted of manslaughter. Now, what if the necessaries of life were provided and Mrs. Ather neglected herself? If medical advice was not sought and you thought that that was a gross neglect of duty, then again, it would be open to you to convict of manslaughter. You must ask yourself how apparent the self-neglect was. There is no evidence that she did not eat during that 3 months, though it is clear that she ate poorly. You must decide if there is a foundation for the very real possibility that she disposed of food when she said that she had eaten it. If you conclude that all the starvation took place during the disease, then you may attach less guilt to Mrs. Barber, who wasn't present during that final week. How you apportion guilt will depend on how extensive you think the period of neglect was. Finally, I must remind you that the burden of proof rests upon the prosecution. Before you can convict either of them, you must be satisfied in either case beyond reasonable doubt that her death was brought about by the gross neglect of one or both the defendants in looking after her, amounting to a reckless disregard, whether she died or not. I must now ask you to retire, elect a foreman to speak for you, and consider your verdicts.
Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Please answer my next question, yes or no. Have you reached a verdict on which you're all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find Harold Barber guilty or not guilty of manslaughter?
Guilty.
And that is the verdict of you all?
Yes.
Do you find Grace Barber guilty or not guilty of manslaughter?
Guilty.
And that is the verdict of you all?
Yes.
Harold and Grace Barber, being found guilty of manslaughter, were sentenced to 2 years' imprisonment, suspended as to half. They can be released after 1 year and will only serve the remainder of their sentence if they re-offended. You can join another jury when our cameras return to bring you a further case in the Crown Court.